Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to the mat. Just getting things up and rolling with sound. So feel free to chat in the chat room and say, hey now, I can hear that just well, or let me know if you can hear me. Hey guys, I think that should all be good to go. Welcome to Sunday practice and the last Sunday of 2020. Holy shit, can't believe we got here. If you're joining live, amazing. Happy to have you. Feel free to send a note to me and each other saying whatever you want to say. A little good morning. If you're joining as part of the 30-day challenge, amazing. Thank you again for being a part of this. We're on day 27. We have 3 more days to go. We're going to be practicing a YIN practice today. So if you're not part of the 30-day challenge and if you're not joining live right now, whatever your circumstances in terms of being here when you find this practice, welcome to the mat. Good on you for taking care of yourself, and allow yourself to take time, proper time. So I kind of have a few things here. I have my water. I have my device for music, because this is a music playlist. Ciao Sabrina in Milan, Italy. I have a blanket, because sometimes you guys want to put yourself up with a little more comfort underneath your knees, or maybe you want to cover yourself up at the end. YIN is not, it's not an active practice, so we're not going to break a sweat in the same way, although it can be challenging in terms of getting into the nitty-gritty of our body. I've got my 2 props. You're going to need 2 blocks for practice, and if you don't have 2 blocks, please grab 2 rolled up towels, like bath towels, and make them kind of stacked up in the same way a block would be. And then additionally, I have my little heating pad, because I like to lie on warmth. That's the little trick. And I'm going to grab one more thing, if that wasn't enough. If you have any essential oils, you've got about 7 minutes to grab those. Sometimes you can put them on a sore spot throughout practice, offer a little healing. Sometimes you can use it at the end of practice for Shavasana and put it on your temples. So I'm putting it to my shoulder and neck area, which has been bothering me for most of this 30-day challenge. But I have to say, a lot of the movement that we've been bringing into December has helped not only look at it, but look at it with reverence and care. So movement was still medicine for me over these last 20 days. And welcome everybody. So you can grab any of those things. You do need the 2 blocks though, or the 2 props. And if you're doing music, you do need your device. The playlist is copy and pasted in the link for you guys. And it's also today's date on my Spotify. So if you follow me, it's today's date, YIN Sunday, December 27th. If you don't follow me and you're like, I should follow her, it's my friend Simone, all one word. And Simone is spelled with 2 E's. So that's what's on deck for our day 27. And for this Sunday, a nice YIN practice. Get yourself sorted, or hang out in front of your monitor. Take your child's pose or your Shavasana if you want. And we'll get started in about 6 minutes. Just a little bit of a reminder with the music, you do have to set yourself up in your space, just for people that are still figuring that out or are newer to the practice. When a class is offered with music, I've curated the playlist especially for the class that I'm offering, but I always put it on my Spotify. We're not on these YouTube live broadcasts or on any broadcasts allowed to just willy-nilly play music for licensing reasons. So I offer the playlist. I hope that you guys can get yourself sorted to have that music on hand in your private space so that we're not broadcasting it live on the video or on the channel. Okay? For those on the 30-day challenge as well, just want to mention that as we near the end, especially if you're joining live, feel free, even in the chat, to just say how things have been for you on the 30-day challenge. I'll probably call out on you guys to do that for sure on day 30. Hopefully we can have just a little bit of a dialogue of sorts back and forth in community, letting each other know where we're at. Hi, Caroline. I miss you so much. Good morning. I hope you had a nice Christmas. I saw some posts of your Instagram. Yeah, so, just encouraging you, hey, Mom, you guys to continue to speak and use this platform as I continue to teach classes after this 30-day challenge, to just continue to stay in community and talk to one another. Thanks, Caroline. Yeah, we've had to make a lot of adjustments, and the biggest one is just being away from one another and not having those people, those smiles, those hugs to greet us wherever we may go, whether it's in our workplace, at our yoga studio for so many of us. So it's no small thing. It's no small thing. I know, I saw that you did the Christmas practice with your hat on. It didn't stay on. Mine stayed on. I don't know if it was so sweaty underneath my hat, but it stayed on. So it's just hitting 11:01. We're going to get started, or 8:01 if you're Pacific time. Some of us are European time. That's 5 hours ahead. But I'm going to ask you guys to get what you need device-wise real close. I'm going to put my little ear thing in. Take a seat in cross-legged, hopefully. If it's not cross-legged for your knees or whatever, maybe you're sitting on your shins with a little bit of a lift of the block underneath your butt. So a little less pressure on the knees and shins. Otherwise, you're coming here. And just feel the length of your spine, and I'm going to count down our playlist. We're going to head into it. I'm going to count it down for 5, for 4, 3, hi honey, Paul Fox, 2, and 1, hit play. I like to rest my hands on my knees. It also gives me something to kind of touch base with. Hold my back body accountable into length. And as you exhale and hold on to your knees, round your spine, tuck your chin in. And as you inhale, get out of the round, sit up tall, breathe in. And then arch your spine and roll your shoulders a little back and pour your shoulder blades in and front to your chest. And then exhale, round your spine. A little lean back, hold on to your knees, tuck your chin in. And then inhale, start to try and sit up straight, ground through your sit bones, and then arch your spine and press your chest forward, shoulder blades get closer together. And then exhale, round again. Push through the shoulder blades, more space there. And then one more inhale and kind of sit up tall, but then arch. Maybe throw your head back a little more. Breathe in. Right? And then exhale. Really exaggerate the round. Hold on to your knees so you don't go anywhere. Push through the shoulder blades, rounding the back. And then sit up tall with your inhale through the nose. Stay tall and exhale through the mouth. Go ahead and lie on your back. Make sure your blocks are close so that you could touch them with your hands as you take a lie down. When you lie down, flip your palms up to face your sky so that you're externally rotating your shoulders. But also, as you externally rotate, what you're saying is, I'm open. I'm open through the chest and the shoulders. I'm open through the hands. I give you my hand. I'm open. And the sentiment of that is not nothing. The willingness to be open in life and in your practice is not nothing. When you breathe in, you should feel this kind of float up and this power to fill up. And when you breathe out, you're letting go of what doesn't serve that. First pose, take your left hand, put it behind your head, and try as you may to relax your elbow open. And as you relax your elbow open, it's going to want to fall more to the ground here with your arm overhead and your hand behind your head. Step the right sole of the foot to the mat and cross the right ankle over your left thigh Or put your right foot to the inner left thigh, kind of like you would in a standing tree. And the way your left elbow is falling open and down to the floor is the way you want to encourage your right knee to do the same. If you're struggling through this tension or tightness in your shoulder, you might take a blanket or one of your props and prop it underneath your left elbow a bit so you have a bit of support to let go into. Same goes for the right knee. And then just by way of opening the space through your torso and your left side, and then opening the space of your right hip and your right thigh on the right side there, find this line of energy from left to right that you can breathe in and out through. Opening your right palm to the sky. And then get out of our ways, right? Get out of the way of what's just about to happen through each breath. Each breath passes on each moment of time. Each little beat of time gets us deeper into the expression of the pose. So you could fight this where you try and hold your right knee up or your left elbow up, or you could let go like that heavy relief, that heavy exhale sigh. And then you could follow that journey. If you're meeting the resistance in that right knee, right leg, or that left shoulder, left elbow, breathe into that pathway of resistance. Kind of filter your breath through like you're pushing through the resistance to go into relief. You're meeting it head on with your breath. Take another deep inhale. And then I want you to open your mouth and sigh out your exhale. To go a little deeper, if you have your right foot on the inner left thigh or on top of the left thigh, maybe you could get a little deeper into a hip opener. So to do that, you'd bring the right knee up to the sky, step the right foot onto the floor. Take your right hand, bring your right knee into chest, and grab your right ankle. And as you grab your right ankle or your right foot, cross the outer right ankle up to the hip crease area, like a lotus pose. And as you cross it at the hip crease, the left side there, drop your right knee down into the space of gravity. Try not to fight that space. Right palm open to the sky here. This will intensify the opening on the right hip. You might feel it in your right knee. If it's too much, go back to where you were. Feel that space. It's like left shoulder, left torso side, all the way down to the right hip crease and across the body. Up and down, inhale, exhale. Feel that space. If you don't have that outer right ankle at the left hip crease, like crossed over, at the very least, I want you to cross the outer right ankle on top of the left thigh. almost like you would for figure number 4, setting up thread the needle. And then keep that foot there. Bend the left leg and step the left sole of the foot to the mat and flex our right foot. Keep your arms out of it. Pick up your left knee in towards your chest. So it's either a kind of figure number 4 or that right foot is kind of at lotus pose, high up on the left hip crease. As you draw your left knee in and you feel that space. Breathe in and breathe out. And take 2 more breaths in and out through the nose. Still waking up the opening of the left shoulder with the left elbow heavy towards the ground or prop. Breathe in and out. Put your right hand to your right knee. Put the left sole of the foot down on the ground. Slowly uncross that right ankle, right foot down on the ground. And keep your feet greeting the mat, knees point up. Breathe in. Listen carefully. Wave the knees to the left in a spinal twist. Feel the journey of your right side open up. And then take your right arm overhead a little bit cactusy. So now you're opening up across the space of the torso. Your knees look to the left so that you can slowly but surely look your head to the right. And there should be a line of energy across your neck body on the left side into the left shoulder too. Try and drop your head over to the right into submission, into relief, into release. Meeting all our spaces of gravity with letting go. May be the case that you set a prop underneath that left elbow to begin this whole journey. And it may be the case that you can release that prop, that you could get it out of the way and then release that left arm and elbow into the space of gravity too. Because things change. Your body opens up. We're always meant to be evolving. If you want to feel a little more through the neck body, you might tuck your chin in slightly as you look over the right arm and shoulder. Two more breaths, softening the arms, softening the jawline, and maybe closing the eyes. Breathe in. Slow, steady, Breathe out. Keep the shape of the body, but rock your head slowly to center. It should roll on top of that left hand that was always there. Put your right palm down, kind of beside your hips. And ground through the right hand and the inside of the right foot and the outside of the left foot. And bring your knees back up. Soles of the feet kind of heel toe to center onto the mat. Knees look straight up, leveling and neutralizing the length of your spine body. Breathe in and breathe out. And then release your left hand from behind your head. Put your palms down, grounding through the mat. Take one little sweet flow, press through the feet and the palms. Lift your hips up, breathe in. Squeeze your bum. Breathe out, put the bum down. As you flip your palms up to the sky, lengthen both legs. Usually feels like there's more space and length to the right leg, given some of the work we've done. Let that be a kind of sweet reward because you took on some poses and you were curious and you went there. You can look at literally the change in your body. However subtle it may be, it's still something. Breathe in and out. Take your right hand, lift your head. Put the right hand behind the head so the weight of the head presses into the back of the hand. And when you start this off, it's completely natural that your right elbow will be riding high. I want you to let go into heavy space there. Try and open up generously through the shoulder. And step the left sole of the foot to the mat. Breathe in. Let's start here. And then just drop the left knee down, putting the left sole against the inner right thigh. If that's spacious for you, that's good. You can lift that left foot and cross it over the left thigh. Either or will start to give you a sweet opening, externally opening the hip. You should feel stuff opening up from right side upper body to lower left body. And just breathe into that line of energy. And it's kind of up to us in our yin practice to find the pose and allow the pose to enter. Not because we muscle in, but because we breathe it in. So anything you've opened up generously across the top body and the bottom body, you can accentuate even more with a generous breath in and a whole breath out. Try and keep releasing into the heaviness of the right elbow and the left knee. So there's this tendency to close the energy in, hold the right elbow into space, hold the left knee into space. But you're not holding, you're letting go. You're softening your left glute. You're softening your back, upper right shoulder back body to the mat. It's the work of not doing work. You could stay here. Maybe the left foot is resting up against the inner right thigh. You could go deeper and cross that left ankle on top of the right thigh. Or you could go even deeper and raise the left knee up to step the left sole of the foot onto the mat. Draw the left knee in a bit. Pick at the left ankle or left foot and cross that outer left foot across the upper right hip. A kind of lotus pose. Dropping into the weight of the left knee, not only back towards the back of your mat, but down. Intensifying the opening. If you feel too slippy slidey, you could always keep your hand there, as long as there's not too much energy or pull. If there is, let it go and just cross the left ankle over that right thigh. And then breathe spaciously across the upper top body, particularly into that right armpit, back of the shoulder, shoulder girdle, heavy right elbow arm. And staying with it, being curious about what each breath lets you dive further into. If you haven't crossed your left ankle towards the right hip crease in lotus, then at least cross it over the right thigh like you're doing figure number 4. Or maybe you just adjust for that nonetheless. And as you do that, bend the right leg, keep your arms out of it, put the right sole of the foot to the ground. When that happens, flex your left foot. Breathe in as you pick up the right foot off the mat, pushing the right thigh up against the outer left foot for an exaggerated kind of thread the needle without your arms. And stay here. And open here. There's just enough yang effort here to lift that right foot off the mat and to press the right thigh up against the outer left foot. But there should also be enough softness in the jaw, softness in the cheeks, and kind of a flat forehead of any furrow to let go into ease here. Breathe in and out. One more inhale. And maybe a real long out the mouth exhale as you put the right foot down on the mat. Step the left sole onto the mat, that left foot. Knees look straight up. Calm breath in here. And then you're going to wag your knees to the right. Set that wag right down into ease, into stop. And from here, take your left arm overhead a bit. A little cactus of the arms. Lying your elbow to the ground. And then slowly rolling your head to the left to look over that left shoulder. There's a line of energy in your right side neck body into that right shoulder. You can intensify a little bit of that as you tuck your chin in a bit. And then you want to just go into a space of heavy. Particularly as it relates to your top leg in this circumstance, your left leg, your left knee. Just letting that wag the knees to the right continue to settle in, continue to heavy in. And there's an extraordinary amount of space also available to you across your upper chest body, into the shoulders, into the weight of the elbows. We're not holding here, we're releasing here. Can you breathe in so that it's like you're shoving in a little more stretch and space through that breath in? Let's practice deliberate breaths here to go up against any resistance. As you inhale, feed in as much inhale as you can. Get to the top of the inhale, hold your breath. As you hold, sip in another little spot of inhale. Hold again. And then let it go with a release of your breath and a sound to go with it. Get to the bottom of the exhale. Hold at empty. Hold at empty. Exhale a little more. So like you're shoving out, maybe out the nose with a bit of a ha sound. Hold. And then relief it. Inhale through the nose, ride it high. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. Heavy head rocks to center like it's massaging the back of your hand as your right hand's behind your head still. And bring your left arm forward. Put the left palm down on the outside of your hips, your left hip. Press through the outside of your right foot, inside of your left foot, and that left hand, and rise your knees back up to center. Breathe in. Everything neutralizes in center. Heel toeing your feet a certain way to get center. Knees face up. Breathe out. Lift your head a bit, release that right hand. It might feel like it's gotten a little something in it too. Put the palms down, framing your hips. Press through the palms, press through the feet, and lift your hips up in a little micro squeeze of the bum. Breathe in. Put the bum down, breathe out. Bring both knees to chest, inhale. Wrap the arms around the shins or knees. Hug it in. Exhale. Keep the hug and press your lower back down. Tuck your chin in lightly, long neck, and stay for 3, for 2. One more breath in. And sigh it out. Release the shins, knees, put the soles of the feet onto the mat. Get your props ready, both of them. So maybe one frames one side of the mat, other frames the other side of the mat. Ground through the feet, press through the palms, lift the bum up like we just did, breathe in. And put one prop, one block underneath your sacrum. It's a little higher than your bum cheeks at the or spine, just underneath that real big triangular bone. If it were to mirror anything, it would be just mirrored behind your pelvic floor. Feel for what's possible here with a breath in and out. That's just you noticing the shape, being assisted with your prop. Go a little further for the first setting of this shape. You can lengthen your legs, but you're going to need to rest your heels Shavasana style to the mat. It's going to push your pelvic floor, thrust it kind of up into space, and intensify the opening in your lower spine. If there aren't any sharp pains, then you're probably okay to be curious about this. If you're encountering sensation and stretch and it's more broad, not sharp, then you're okay to be in this. But if there's anything sharp, scary, painful about this, then I want you to bend your legs again and put the soles of your feet on the mat. The benefit about going long through the legs is that we allow ourselves to feel a bit of sensation through the front of the hips into the length of our legs. Remember to keep it relief bound, jaws soft. Iron out the crinkles in the forehead. Close the eyes. Heavy the chest into the back body onto the mat. Super beautiful, good pose for our lower back, but also for our belly, our digestional tract. So it's okay if you feel a few gurgles here and sensation. It's the work of a lot of postures in yoga to get what's stuck a little bit moving. Soften to that notion. Soften to the health and well-being of our body as we meet these poses. Whether you're religious or not, there's a kind of God in yoga, and the God of yoga is that breath. So use the God of your yoga and kind of delve deeper into the significance of bigger breaths, rounder breaths, fuller breaths, and how they feed the body, so that the body isn't so thirsty or hungry, looking for that that space of recognition to go deeper into its true expression. Expression of space, of ease. May be the case that you're a little more open. So if you had a bend in the legs, maybe now's to try the version with straight legs. Take 4 more breaths. If you're working with music, you'll feel the swell of the music starting to get a little more swelly. You compare your breath with that swell, with that lift, with that feed. And you can fill up like there's no maximum here, like there's no limit, no boundary, so that you can let go in a similar way. If your legs are long, we're all going to make our legs bend so we can put the soles of the feet onto the mat. One knee at a time into chest, with a little hug of the hand to knee in towards the chest. And feeling space in your lower back open up with that little hug of the knee in towards the chest. And then you'll put both soles of the feet onto the mat, the knees look up, that first phase of our original pose. As you inhale and grab for your block, lift your hips. As you exhale, layer your second prop underneath. See if you can be this high. If it's too high with 2 props, take away that second prop and then make your first prop change height to go just a little higher, so that at least you get a little bit of lift from where you were. I'll give you a moment to just set that up in your body. And the setting up in our body means that you take a few significant breaths in and out to feel what the setup is. If your breath is encountering a kind of block or wall, if you can't get a smooth breath in and out, then you know you've gone too far. Take your right knee and draw it in towards your chest for a beat and just kind of feel how far that'll go naturally without your arms being involved. Take your right hand, slide it towards your right ankle, foot, and then grab your foot back like you want to do dancer's pose. And try and put your shoelaces onto the mat so that you're getting a pretty significant stretch into your right ankle. And with the heaviness of your right knee down and back into the front of your right hip crease. And just check it out, because it may be the case that you right away decide that it might not be for you, but I want you to remove some limits from this and just at least check it out. If there's a broad sensation through the front of the foot and the ankle, you're probably allowed to be curious about that. If it's super painful and there's just no give, maybe less of your toes curled under will give you that. If you want more, you keep walking your shoelaces onto the mat more so the right big toe points up the length of your spine. A real hiding the shoelaces onto the mat for a more open space right up the length of your right leg. 1 minute here. Try and soften your face. The expression of your face literally tells your body how to be. So we know from stressful times in our life when we tighten our jaw and our face and our eyes pop out, that's not a good situation for our body, our chest. Relieve that. Soften. Breathe in and out. Three more breaths. Inhales are large, expansive, full. There's no boundary. Exhales are the same because you set them up with your inhales. There's no boundary. Take your right hand to your right ankle or foot. Help it towards the back of your mat, sliding on your shoelaces so that you can then release your shoelaces, right foot down. If you've got two props, lift your bum just a bit, sneak it up, come down to one prop. And then for the one prop, sneak your bum up. Come all the way down. Feel the sensation probably of a little ache in your lower spine. Heel toe your feet wider and knock your knees inward to ground your lower spine down for a beat. If you want to stretch that lower spine, like literally open up space in it, you can take your hands to your thighs with your knees locked in and your feet wide. And with your knees knocked in, not locked in, press your thighs with your hands and breathe in. There should be space in your lower back as you do that. And then release that press and breathe out. 2 more. Participate in this stretch. Press. Breathe in. Space, lower back with that press of hands to thighs. Exhale, release the press, breathe out. 1 more time. Inhale. Press. Exhale, release. Knock the knees out, guys. Feel the space between the knees and the feet. And then draw both knees, maybe one at a time, in towards your chest and hug in the knees with a press of hands to knees. Feel the space in the lower back. Stay with the hug. Enjoy the space. 1 more breath in. And out the mouth. Put the soles of the feet onto the mat. And again, with the soles of the feet onto the mat, one prop at a time. And it may be the case that you're like, I don't want to use two props. So I'm just going to try the one prop. And if it's a block or one prop, make the height high enough so that it changes from its original space. Or if you're doing two props, two blocks, layer those two props on top of one another at the lowest height. Draw your left knee in around on top of your chest. Take your left hand, grab your left ankle and foot, pull it back, and put the left shoelaces onto the mat. So you're tucking your shoelaces onto the mat. Your big toe or toes will point up to your head. You should already feel sensation at your ankle, but maybe you want to go a little more and keep walking those shoelaces up towards your head to tuck more of your foot underneath, getting a pretty sweet opening all the way up your left leg. So you can probably see or notice, or I'll point it out to you in case you haven't, that I went with one block, one prop for this side. I didn't need quite as much sensation. You can make those adjustments so that you can visit the pose and let the pose do its work. And there's a whole big story on this side. It's its own story, and we give it its time. One whole minute once we're in, with the left toes curled under, left shoelaces to the mat. Heavy left knee. Resist the urge to hold yourself up. Feel the breath ground your purpose here. So we could get a little distracted by the sensation. We could get a little distracted by being still and all the ways we need to fill in stillness with busy. We could get distracted by needing to attend to our grocery lists or figure out those phone conversations for later. I just want you to breathe in, maybe name it inhale. Then I want you to breathe out, maybe name it exhale. And as you name and focus on your breath, that is your point of focus. That is your purpose. Soften the space of your jaw. Wash that softening across your forehead. Iron out your concerns. Deep breath in. Full out the nose, breath out. Take 2 more breaths. And out of that second long serving you exhale, take your left hand towards your left ankle and foot and help it slide towards the back of your mat so you're untucking less and less of your toes until they're fully revealed. Left foot steps down. If you've got 2 props, sneak your bum up just enough to release 1 prop. Take a breath in and out as you come to 1 prop if that's you. And then for our 1 prop, sneak your bum up just enough to release that first prop. Maybe you inch your shoulders and upper back up the length of your mat so that you can literally feel the setting of your pelvic floor press down to lower back on the mat. And bring the soles of the feet together. Make your feet become prayer-like, knees wide. And just pause here. With your Baddha Konasana legs, your knees wide like butterfly. Rock your head like a bowling ball. So that's pretty heavy to the right. And a little sensation of opening the neck body. Breathe in. And breathe out. Rock your head through to center. Feel that rock slow so you're massaging the back of your head. And then all the way to the left. And then breathe in and out through that. Slow rock to center so you don't miss the opportunity to feel the massage of the back of the head and skull. Light tuck of the chin. Close the knees like a book. Option to hug the knees in to rock forward and back. Or you can come to a sit, slow and steady. Sit down, cross your legs for a beat. Take one of your props, put it horizontally behind you where you think your shoulder blades, your mid-back area will meet it. Take your second prop and you can stand it up a little higher vertically, where you think your head will meet it. With your crossed legs, put your hands to your knees, stand up tall through the spine. Breathe in. Put your right hand behind, left hand to right knee, twist. Ring it out. Come back to center, both hands on knees. Breathe in. Put your left hand behind you, your right hand to left knee. Ring it out and twist. Come back to center. Breathe in. And start to lie down. Actually, I'm going to switch this. Your first block is higher. Actually, your second block is lower. Okay? Important detail. First block across your shoulder blades is higher. So your chest body is super duper open. Second block is lower. Legs are long and they're a little wider. If you're not okay with your head hanging back like this and your throat body being open, which can be pretty excellent for our thyroid, especially if you've got thyroid issues. But if it's not your jam or you don't feel supported, then you raise this second block to the same height as the first block. Or then you raise your second prop to the first prop height. Everything works better when you don't go against the grain, when you kind of go with the flow. Postures in our yoga and in our yin especially are also this way. You're not fighting the open space of your chest. You're not fighting the open space of your hips and the release of your bum to the mat. You're not fighting the heaviness of your feet and the big toes waving open. You just keep meeting it. Keep trusting it. Three breaths. 3 big breaths. Allow yourself one more breath, 4th breath in and out. Option to stay here a little longer. The only thing I ask of you is that you require yourself a Shavasana. So whenever you choose to get out, you must meet your back body neutral. Some people stay for 2, 3, 5 minutes. The longer you stay, the longer your Shavasana. Shavasana might mean you use a blanket if you got it. Shavasana might mean you take your essential oil and you rub your temples all the way down your jawline. However you get there, just get there. When you do, give yourself over to it. May you have a very, very sweet Sunday. and many sweet Sundays as we head into 2021 on this last Sunday of 2020. Thanks for joining. Thanks for trusting, not only in me, but in yourself, in the possibility of your body and your breath meeting as one on our mat. Sweet dreams. Namaste. Happy day 27 to 30-day challengers. I'll see you tomorrow.